Hey everyone! Does anyone know why I'm irritated today? I apologize that this video is out late. There were circumstances that were outside of our control. So, back to what has me irritated today. Since May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to talk about Scientology and how dangerous their position against all mental health treatment is. First, we will talk about what the official policy of the church is. Then we'll go over why L. Ron Hubbard instituted this policy in the first place. Scientology does not believe in the medical model of mental illness. That's their right in America. They founded the Citizen Commission on Human Rights, or CCHR, to end this medical model. CCHR believes psychiatry is torture, and psychiatrists cause the 9/11 terrorist attacks. They are working to eliminate non-Scientologists' rights to take medication or choose electroshock therapy. That is where my problem is. They have no right to choose what people outside of their cult or church does. According to this woman, whose name is Jan Eastgate, and who is the president of the CCHR, psychiatry was directly to blame for 9/11. Here is a statement that she released. The terrorist attacks on the Twin Towers of New York City's World Trade Center and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. on September 11th, 2001 will never be forgotten. The planes exploding into flames as they hit buildings, people leaping from the burning wreckage to certain death, firemen rushing into crumbling towers only to become victims themselves. Large swaths of lower Manhattan reduced to smoking rubble. A stunned world watched the news footage over and over, trying to come to grips with the criminal minds that could conceive of such a plan, much less execute it. Unthinkably violent acts like this shock us all. What kind of person could be so cold-hearted and destructive and be willing to give up his own life in the process? What kind of mindset plans and executes mass murder with utter disregard for humanity? Yet some experts claim that today's terror merchants are no more irrational than you or I, that we all have demons within. Beware these experts, because their claims are blatant falsehoods. Terrorism is created. It is not human nature. Suicide bombers are made, not born. Ultimately, terrorism is the result of madmen bent on destruction, and these madmen are often the result of psychiatric or psychological techniques aimed at mind and behavior control. Suicide bombers are not rational. They are weak and pliant individuals, psychologically indoctrinated to murder innocent people without compassion. With no concern for the value of their own lives, they are manufactured assassins. Part of that process involves the use of mind-altering psychiatric drugs. Consider the roots of the word assassin. In the year 1090, Hassan ibn al-Sabah founded a terrorist group called the Ismaili Order in a mountain fortress south of the Caspian Sea. To train followers as killers, they were first drugged unconscious, then taken to a beautiful garden filled with luxuries and women. They were awoken to enjoy the delights, and then drugged again and returned to the Grand Master, overseeing their training. He would assure them that they had never left his side, but had merely experienced a taste of the paradise that awaited them if they successfully carried out a killing assignment. Because of heavy use of hashish to accomplish the intoxication, the killers became known as Hasashian, the Arabic user of hashish, later assassins. The Japanese kamikaze pilots who launched suicide attacks against Allied shipping during World War II used amphetamines to override their natural impulse to survive. Amphetamine side effects include psychosis, euphoria, and combativeness. Beverly Eakman, author and educator, says, Unspeakable acts of terror, torture, and mass murder are not so much the result of individuals who have lost their mind as they are of individuals who have lost their conscience. The heinous suicide attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon are traced to Osama bin Laden, and bin Laden's chief mentor is a former psychiatrist. It would not be the first time psychiatrists had served as the manipulators behind charismatic but essentially weak and flawed human beings, systematically feeding their hatred and stroking their egos until eventually even the most barbaric acts may appear plausible and rational in the name of a twisted cause. From Hitler's final solution in Germany and the unthinkable ethnic cleansing and terrorist purges in Bosnia and Kosovo in the 1990s to today's suicide bombers, the world has suffered greatly at the hands of programmed assassins and genocidal maniacs. CCHR hates psychiatry so much that they released a video series called Psychiatry of Death. And here are a few clips from Volume 6, titled Soviet Psychiatry.
Быть верными коммунистическим идеалам, убежденно, с революционной настойчивостью претворять в жизнь ленинский завет, учиться коммунизму, трудиться самоотверженно, по-коммунистически, всей жизнью своей, утверждать на земле дело Ленина, дело партии. Клянемся!
The Soviet regime demanded absolute loyalty. Those who did not toe the party line were considered dissidents and labeled enemies of the state. With no more than a whisper to the secret police, they would vanish into one of these special psychiatric hospitals. According to Soviet psychiatrists, they all suffered from inflexibility of convictions, a symptom of a new disorder, sluggish schizophrenia.
The CCHR claims that there are 5 reasons that psychiatry is bad and harmful. Here are those 5 reasons. Reason number 1. Psychiatric disorders are not medical diseases. In medicine, strict criteria exist for calling a condition a disease. A predictable group of symptoms and the cause of the symptoms or an understanding of their physiology or function must be proven and established. Chills and fever are symptoms. Malaria and typhoid are diseases. Diseases are proven to exist by objective evidence and physical tests, yet no mental diseases have ever been proven to medically exist. Reason number 2. Psychiatrists deal exclusively with mental disorders, not proven diseases. While mainstream physical medicine treats diseases, psychiatry can only deal with disorders. In the absence of a known cause or physiology, a group of symptoms seen in many different patients is called a disorder or syndrome. Harvard Medical School's Joseph Glenmullen, MD, says that in psychiatry, all of its diagnoses are merely syndromes or disorders, clusters of symptoms presumed to be related, not diseases. As Dr. Thomas Zaz, professor of psychiatry emeritus, observes, there is no blood or other biological test to ascertain the presence or absence of a mental illness, as there is for most bodily diseases. Reason number 3. Psychiatry has never established the cause of any mental disorder. Leading psychiatric agencies such as the World Psychiatric Association and the U.S. National Institute of Mental Health admit that psychiatrists do not know the cause or cures for any mental disorder or what their treatments specifically do to the patient. They have only theories and conflicting opinions about their diagnoses and methods, and are lacking any scientific basis for these. As a past president of the World Psychiatric Association stated, the time when psychiatrists considered that they could cure the mental ill is gone. In the future, the mentally ill will have to learn to live with their illness. Reason number 4. The theory that mental disorders derive from a chemical imbalance in the brain is unproven opinion, not fact. One prevailing psychiatric theory, key to psychotropic drug sales, is that mental disorders result from a chemical imbalance in the brain. As with other theories, there is no biological or other evidence to prove this. Representative of a large group of medical and biochemistry experts, Elliot Valenstein, PhD, author of Blaming the Brain, says there's no test available for assessing this chemical status of a living person's brain. And reason number 5, the brain is not the real cause of life's problems. People do experience problems and upsets in life that may result in mental troubles, sometimes very serious. But to represent that these troubles are caused by incurable brain diseases that can only be alleviated with dangerous pills is dishonest, harmful, and often deadly. Such drugs are often more potent than a narcotic and capable of driving one to violence or suicide. They mask the real cause of problems in life and debilitate the individual, so denying him or her the opportunity for real recovery and a hope for the future. To uncover the real reason for the hatred of mental health treatment, we have to head over into the history of Scientology and into the mental health of the founder, L. Ron Hubbard. Hubbard initially sought psychiatric treatment himself. Later, he identified himself as a psychologist. Not certified, not recognized by anyone, but he identified himself as a psychologist who in 1950 authored Dianetics, the Modern Science of Mental Health, a handbook for the psychiatrist, psychoanalyst, and the intelligent layman. The American Psychiatric Association rejected his claims, and in 1951, his wife Sarah demanded that he seek psychiatric treatment. In response, Hubbard kidnapped their daughter, and in the ensuing press coverage, headlines like "Ron Hubbard insane, says wife," reported that Sarah had consulted psychiatrists who proclaimed Hubbard was hopelessly mentally ill. His work was rejected by mainstream psychiatry, and Hubbard was publicly declared insane by psychiatrists consulted by his second wife. Afterwards, Hubbard was increasingly critical of psychiatry, psychology, and psychoanalysis. Ultimately, Hubbard taught that psychiatrists were behind a worldwide conspiracy, and Hubbard had redefined the word psychiatrist to mean an antisocial enemy of the people. Finally, I thought I would close with a few fascinating items from the video, 10 bizarre claims from the Scientologists' war on psychiatry. I will leave a video link in the description below, along with a link to the CCHR's brochure on why terrorism is caused by psychiatry. Enjoy!
10 bizarre claims from Scientology's war on psychiatry. 10. Psychiatric meds cause school shootings. 8. Psychiatrists cause the Holocaust. 4. Psychiatrists encourage racism.
Thank you for watching. Please like and share this video, and I will see you in the next video. Remember, question your doctor, because when you do, we all learn something.